Welcome to Sassafras Valley. Well, I got a text from my nephew, Mike, and he had a special request. He wanted me to make him a wooden button. So I got onto PowerPoint, drew me up some sketches, finally came up with one I kind of liked, and I printed those out. And they're gonna look like this. That's the template that I'm working with. Okay, those are 4 inches in diameter. And now I need to find some wood. And I think I got some in here in my scrap pile. Let's go look. Well, let's see, odds and ends. Got lots of stuff in here with lots of opportunity. But here's some thin stock right here. Let's see, this is that's maple right there. That's cedar. There's some more maple. That ain't too bad. It's got a little bit of warp in it. Don't think I'll use that. Here's one here. It's pretty flat. Not perfectly flat, but I think it'll do the trick. And if I can get 4, that'd be 4, 8, 12, 16. I'm gonna need, let's see, 6 layers, 1/4 inch thick. I may need 2 of those. Let me see. I can get this one, and maybe I can make this one work. What's this one down here? Well, that one there is kind of splitsies. Now that's pretty thin. I think I'll make these work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mill those down to 1/4 inch each. And if I put them together back to back, they should work out okay. So I think I'll get the planer rigged up for thin lumber and get started on them. As most of you know, I used to work for a couple different furniture manufacturing companies, and one of the tricks I learned was that when you were doing thin lumber on a planer, if you take and install an artificial planer bed, this one here happens to be some shelving material. It has a laminate on it. It's made out of MDF, medium density fiberboard. Stays really flat and slick. It'll keep me from having my knives so close to the bed. It'll also give me a longer surface to lay the wood on, so that I won't get as much likelihood of snipe. Whenever it comes out the end, the board will still be supported. So I use it a lot when I'm doing thin lumber and especially short lumber. So I'm going to put that in, get this thing adjusted, and then we'll plane them boards down. I'm gonna make 4.5-inch squares out of this. So the easy way for me to do it is to set the stop up so that it's at 4.5 inches from the blade. And then commence to cut. See how this goes. Alright, made a square cut on the end here. And let me turn on the vacuum. It's gonna get dusty. Got another one I didn't trim. Why didn't you tell me I missed one? Okay. Give me 5 of them. You know, we've all been there. You're 60 minutes deep into a 30-minute meeting and there's no end in sight. The topic for the meeting is buried deep beneath one fella who just insists that what he knows, what he feels, and what he thinks is so much more important than anything else going on that the meeting's going his way. So, feels just a little bit tacky. Should be about perfect. It's a removable tack, and it's a good thing because I got it crooked. It's still crooked. There we go, that'll work. Okay. I have witness marks on this. This tells me that it's the side that needs to be adhered. Then these marks here will help me line it so that they're in the right order. Okay, well, now do some drilling and some sawing. I think for most of us, we learn fairly early on a little bit about civil discourse. You know, the way in which we interact with other people. You know, there's a give and take. You have to take away something from the conversation that you're having, so you have to actually listen, because it's a known fact that your ears close off when your mouth opens up. You just don't hear what's being said while you're talking. I said most of us learn that, but not all. I think we, in common, have ran into folks like that a few times. People where you can have a conversation with them for an hour and a half, and they will have told you so many things that your mind is spinning, and you can't recall a single time that they wanted you to speak up at all, where they wanted to hear anything you had to say, and that their self-interest far overwhelmed any type of interest that they may have in your thoughts or your needs. As a result, you've now spent a good deal of your life sitting there, watching, observing, and absorbing the fact that the person who's doing all the talking and laying out all the knowledge is pretty much self-absorbed and oftentimes not real knowledgeable about the subject at hand. Well, that's what happened to my nephew Mike. He sent me a note, as I said earlier, and requested that he have a meeting reminder, a token that he could display to point out that he had the floor and that he was going to get his 2 cents worth in. So, that's what this is all about. The next time that they have their weekly safety meeting, it's supposed to run about 30 minutes, ends up running an hour, he intends to interject that button into his interactions in the meeting, so that when the fella who likes to hijack the meetings and will not allow people to even finish a sentence, will not allow the subject matter that's supposed to be discussed be debated or even be presented by the person holding the meeting, then he's going to speak up. And when he gets cut off by the meeting hijacker, he plans to just raise that button up and show it around the room. Going to put up the side that says, "I'm talking," and see what happens. And if what he thinks happens, and the hijacker keeps rambling on, he intends to put up the side that says, "Shut up." He's pretty sure it'll work, because dozens at least, if not 100 times, there's been discussion in that meeting about that very subject, about how everyone should have an opportunity to speak, and that the objective of the meeting is to be there for 30 minutes, and on meeting 31, they're walking out the door. And that interfering, like cutting everyone off, hijacking the meeting, making everyone see how self-important you've made yourself, is just really bad social manners. Be interesting to see if it works. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish putting this button together. Well, I did a little experiment to find out if glue was going to hold over the top of the dye that I'm going to use. It's a red aniline dye. And it is going to hold just fine. So that makes it a lot simpler trying to put highlighting in the letters. So I'm going to go ahead and take the center board out of this and just make sure I get it correct. I'm going to mark this as the red side. Okay. And the other side will be blue. What I have is some water-soluble aniline dye stain. This one here is ruby. And this one here is bright blue. Mix them with water and paint them on. I have the red mixed up. I'll go ahead and put that on while we're at it. Today we're going to use the Hobby Lobby drop cloth. Remix a little bit of that ruby red, make sure it's mixed up well. I think I can use the same cloth here. And let's see, this is red. I'd love to see how it goes, but it's not a meeting I can be a part of, and I don't know that there's any way he can record it, but would be interesting to see just exactly what happens whenever he attempts to try to gain back that portion of his life that he loses every week, and non-productive portions of the meeting that aren't even supposed to be portions of the meeting. So I'll give the button to him, and I'll find out from him just exactly how it worked. May not be able to tell you the ending of it, but you can imagine what it's like being in his shoes and seeing your life frittered away on nothing productive, interesting, or desired. I think that's probably plenty heavy enough. So I'll let that dry for 15 minutes or so, and then I can turn it over while, in the meantime, I'll mix up the blue. These are, I bought a case of 3M electrician's tape, and these are the little cases that the tape came in. I found them pretty handy for small jobs like this. All right, I'll dry that out. And then we'll glue the outsides on. Each one is a 1/4 inch thick. Whoa, each one's a 1/4 inch thick. So that'll make this 3/4 when it's done. Yep. Be back when we're ready to glue. So, time to do the glue up. My glue's a little bit old. I'm gonna use the original Tight Bond. So I think it's a little bit thick. So what I'm gonna do, see if I can get that out of there. I'm gonna thin it just a little. Surely there's enough to do this job. Well, that may be too much thinning. We'll see. Let's see how that spreads. I think that'll spread out about right. Yeah, I can make that work. All right. So, whoa, that's what I didn't want.
The Phillies are trying to get back to the World Series this year. Pitch. He's in the dirt. It's 2-2.
For the lives you touch, schedule your cancer screening today. Visit getscreeningnow.com or call 314-208-2737.
Summer won't last forever, but during Toyota's national sales event, you can make memories that will. Come on.
Okay, so now all I have to do is a little hand sanding and clean it up, and I'm ready to put the finish on it. I do appreciate you watching, and you have nothing less than a wonderful day.